good too. Anything where you like from America, just check buydirectly.com. As Vidoma did, the American version did. If you buy and bring and come Nigeria. So just go to buy direct from USA. Vidoma, hey my sister. Come on, I know the buy star. My Facebook, go buy star now. Oh yeah.
Good evening, Daddy Freeze. Good
daddy.
evening, Mr. Peter.
Good evening. I've been having
Daddy,
more.
I want to quickly say something. Though I'm not married, I'm very much single, but I just want to say something. You know, in most cases, though I lost my aunt on domestic violence, and I don't think it's something that anybody, be it a male or a female, needs to go through. Like, it's emotionally draining. Like, it's not something someone needs to go through. Like, it's a very terrible thing, you know, to start with. So now in this whole case, I don't want to give out my whole opinion, but let's start by saying that the whole story is one-sided first. Daddy Freeze, if you agree with me. We've had the family come out and speak. We've seen some WhatsApp messages. I read the statement that was released by her family today, and how they said that they tried to save her from the marriage, but the late Mrs. Bimbo is someone that believes in, you know, raising her kids with both parents. So here is where I'm trying to come in. Raising your kids with your husband does not warrant you to, you know, suppress yourself, because it's only a happy mom, a happy family that can raise a happy kids. You cannot give what you don't have. You cannot raise kids in violence. You cannot raise kids when you're not happy. You cannot raise kids when you don't have peace. So now, there is what they call co-parenting. I want to first of all start by saying that I'm not actually happy with her parents, her siblings, and her people. Why did I say this is this? You saw someone is going through some kind of psychological issues, because if you read through these things, you understand that this woman is damaged. Sorry to say this, everyone doesn't have to agree with me, but if you read the whole story, you can see that she's emotionally and psychologically damaged. Like, she doesn't have peace. She's always coming online to, you know, put some certain things online, say some certain things. Okay, you're seeing someone go through this. What are you supposed to do? You help them go through it. You help them. You try. You do what you can do. Allowing her stay there is not doing her any good. She can always raise the kids with her husband by co-parenting, not by you don't keep patching things up and patching things. Someone is beating your kid and you allow it. You come to your in-laws house, you get insulted, get abused. We've not heard from the guy's end to know what exactly happened, because me, I cannot give a judgment when something is one-sided. It's so sorry that we lost the lady and the family are mourning. Yes, but you know, you can try to save someone while you can. You don't have to leave things to go messy. This woman actually suffered a lot before she passed on. So why do we have to allow things to get to that extent? I know it's not easy for her to leave, you know. She had kids and all the whole stuff. But if actually the family put more effort to save her, she could have been alive today. She could have been happier. She could have still raised her kids. But now she's no longer there to raise those kids that she wanted to raise with the family. So what's the essence of leaving someone go through a lot, knowing fully well that something can happen? We cannot say the husband is responsible for it. We don't know what the husband has actually passed through for someone to endure all these kind of things. What exactly are you trying to get? You cannot change things. There are things you cannot change, and those things are, you can't change human beings. You cannot stop a cheating man to stop cheating. You're not God. You can't stop. You cannot tell an adult to sit here. An adult is an adult. So why trying to, I'm not just happy about it, but I don't know. Until we hear from the both sides, then we can
Network,
say what happened and what didn't happen.
your network is going, sis. But anyway, I think I have an idea of what you're talking about. Okay, we've got this other
Can
lady.
you
Please
hear me?
clean your cameras.
Oh, okay.
And it would be nice if we can have some light so we can see you. You're a fine lady. Let's see you.
Okay. I'm at work though, but I'll have to.
Work. What work are you doing in the middle of the night like this? I would should be worried.
Okay. Hey, you can see me clearly now,
Yeah,
right?
clearly, yes. So go
Oh,
ahead, talk.
I didn't listen to what the other guy said, but I heard vividly what Vida said, and
Yes.
she raised a very good point about the whole scenario. But when love is involved, like Vida was saying something, and she now deviated, and that was where I said, okay, I'm going to come in there. Like she said something about you cannot tell an adult to do this, and that is where I am coming in from. Yeah, Vida, the family must have tried. In fact, they said they tried right from when she was 15 years. So, like what you said, you cannot tell an adult. She's an adult. She was a teenager, then she grew into a full-blown adult. So she in fact she's I supposed to say that she took full responsibility of what happened to her, no matter what. Yes, because the kids now, who is going to take care of the kids that she died for? The man will only be detained, questioned, and maybe at the end of the day be released. In a month or two, he will get married or get involved with another woman. So why are we killing ourselves because of love or because of whatever she must have carried, or because the story is too much on in the internet? So I don't understand why most of us are going through things and we can't exempt ourselves from it. I am a living witness of a domestic violence, and I ran from Nigeria to where I am today, to hide myself and to take care of my daughter. I have a daughter. I'm a single mom. It wasn't easy, but I planned my way out and I achieved my aim. Yes, some people cannot leave their marriage or their relationship because they don't have the money or capacity to do so. But I planned my way out and I ran away, and
Tell us
now I'm
about your
taking care
story.
of my daughter.
About your story. How did you leave your marriage?
Okay, it wasn't really a marriage, is a relationship, and domestic violence, accusations, family here and there. Oh, we don't want to marry you. My brother, and you're older than my brother. My brother we want my brother to marry a younger one, and I said okay. And they were all coming together, trying to get the guy to push me away. Which I said
This
okay, I'm not going to leave.
is the guy a Nigerian?
Yeah, he's a Nigerian. Yeah, he's a
Where
Nigerian. Pardon?
where is this guy? The guy
Yeah,
you're with?
He's in Nigeria over there. But
Who are abroad?
yes, yeah, I'm in
Okay.
abroad now. Yeah. So, and when the whole beating and everything, people were my friend was really saying, leave this boy. I said, no, I want to achieve something. I want to get something. I want to really get something out of this thing before I leave. And I'm happy today that I left with something. At least I left with my life, and I left with my daughter. And he doesn't take responsibility of my daughter. He doesn't fit the bills or anything. I do things myself. So it is very difficult for we women to, as in, leave that domestic violence. Some people are really suffering. Even here in abroad, I know most of my friends, they are really suffering. But to come out, no, they go tell you, say, no, what will my family say? What will my friends say? Ah, no, we go die here. Now their word, we go die here. And we go die here, they go still die. So now that's what is really happening. So I don't really blame Bimbo, seriously. When you love someone, you can do anything for the person. You can go extra mile for the person. She wanted them to die together like Romeo and Juliet, but she don't buy. The guy is still there. So that is life, and
I think
nobody will
I
be
think
blamed.
this whole thing borders on the teachings that people have received and the environment in which they grew. You
Yeah.
know, I heard a rumor, and I think I live in Benin City. I heard a rumor that one of our billionaires in Benin, his daughter killed herself because she was duped, I think 300 million naira or thereabouts. I heard this story. I've heard from different sources, and you know, I'm not saying the story is true or false, but I'm just saying that in such a situation, we'll discover that there are people who are suicidal naturally, that cannot, for them to come out of a situation, they would rather exit life than to exit a difficult situation. I think we really need to start teaching children how to survive hardship, how to go through hard times without thinking of solving yourself instead of solving the problem. There are a lot of problems we have in life that cannot be solved but can be ignored. People must learn how to identify problems and identify the solution. There are some problems that we came to meet. They don't really concern us unless we want to bother our head over it. For example, why are people ugly? Why are people short? Why are people wicked? These are things that we cannot solve. But you know, there are people who have killed themselves over these things. They just sit down and think and think and think, why was I even born? Why is my nose flat? Why am I short? So a lot of times, people need to look at what they are learning from the environment. People need to now ask themselves, who am I? You know, when you are not a happy person as a single person, you may never be happy as a married person. You may become very toxic in marriage. We must
It's a
all
bit.
learn how to be happy and independent of other people. You must detach your happiness from other people. If you don't know how to detach your happiness from other people, you can become suicidal.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody who doesn't want to leave a marriage because of her children. Now you have left life.
Yeah.
So we need to really. I'm coming. Let me just quickly laugh, please. We need to really begin to teach people how to identify themselves and identify problems, and always try to solve problems and never solve themselves. Because if you solve yourself, party is over. That's all. You're gone. You are gone. The problem may still be there, just that you are not alive to witness the problem. So why not just walk out of the problem and let the problem be in its own lane and you on your own lane? You know. My sister have something to say. Let me allow you to say what you want to say.
Let's hear you, Vidoma. Thank you very much for that, though.
Yeah. Okay, sorry. Most people on the comment section, I think most of you misunderstood my comments when I say I'm blaming the family. What I mean is this: I'm blaming them for just putting the husband, like putting the whole thing on the husband, blaming him and making him look responsible for her death. First of all, we need to get the two sides of the story before we can analyze and say this is what actually happened. That is where I'm coming from, because they actually experienced her go through the abuses and so many things that occurred in their marriage, first of all. So secondly, I want to say this. One of the reasons why most people tend to, not leave a toxic relationship and toxic marriage is this, like what Mr. Peter said, there's what they call self-confidence. Whenever you're loving someone, I know how love can be overwhelming. Love can make you, think, you don't want to think about yourself. You just want to think about the growth of someone you're in love with, how you want everything to look rosy and happy and all this stuff. But please, before you do that, you need to put yourself first. You need to understand that you are a person. And when you don't love yourself, I don't know how someone that doesn't love him or herself can, give out love. You need to be self-confident. And in most cases, that the phrase, you can agree with me that most women that are married to some people are not even financially capable to stand on their own when they walk out of the marriage. Because first of all, they will start thinking, if I leave now, how am I going to pay my child's school fees? How am I going to, start all over again? Those are their fears. Their fears is not about, in most cases, the fear is not about the safety of the marriage or whatsoever, but the fear is, how are they all going to start all over again? You get? So that brings us to bringing something to the table, because when things happen, you look at yourself, you tell yourself, I'm worth something. This is me. This is what I'm bringing. It's not just about the marriage. It's about us working together. Then when you feel that I'm no longer valid, you get, then I have to prove to myself that I'm valid. I'm bringing something. I can start all over again. I can be confident, because most times we lose our self-confidence in chase of love.
Okay, let me bring somebody else. Peter Bojele, do you have anything to say, or can I bring somebody else? Michael.
Mike.
I forgot that I put my mic on mute. The thing is, a lot of people should watch. People should watch their background, the things they have learned over the years. For example, I listened to a woman which depicts what really happens in Nigeria in many places. In Nigeria, a lot of men want to be worshipped. A lot of men want to believe that they have the right to be promiscuous. A lot of men want to believe that, oh, they are the alpha and omega of the marriage. And this is really causing a lot of chaos. You see, a man will tell you, as an African man, I can do anything. But as an African woman, she cannot do anything that she likes. Some of this imbalance is actually causing issues. So a lot of people, when they want to go into marriage, a lot of girls, they prepare to marry somebody who is promiscuous all the way from the beginning. Some who have married such will, they will tell you, well, that's how men are. You have to worship the man. Don't quarrel with him or don't fight with him. Meanwhile, that person that they are telling not to fight is somebody that cannot cope with a cheating husband. And then she finally marries a cheating husband because of what the society says. Oh, wow, this one that cannot stay in her husband's house. They begin to tolerate rubbish and begin to eat up themselves. See, there are people who can tolerate a man that marries 10 wives. There are people who cannot tolerate it. Let those who can tolerate it marry people that will marry many wives. But the man should tell the woman from the beginning, before they marry, that, oh, I will marry more than one. Oh. If she says it's okay, go ahead. But the idea from the society that a man can do anything he likes is actually killing a lot of women. Yes, the man is providing, but they are not happy in their marriage. So happiness Happiness should be one thing that every woman should consider before they get married. And when you are constantly being battered, constantly being choked, you must know that there's a way out. Forget about what the society.
Thank you so much, Peter. Sorry, I'm rushing out, and there's so many people here. I want to bring a couple more people. Do you have anything to say, my darling Vivian David?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Both of them.
What? So
Okay.
Yes, go ahead.
Okay. What I want to say is not. In fact, they easy. They easy. Love can make you do anything. I remember way back. In fact, say our parents no tell us say now so the thing be, because our parents now them make us now them in fact their teachings now waiting make some women now they into abusive marriage. They no one come out.
They're no fit.
They no fit come out, because why you won't come out? Where you won't go? Your own family self go disown you. They go even push you back, especially when the man is rich. That is when they will push you back, because they want material things. They want money. They want to keep eating and keep eating the guy's money. So now our parents, they no do us well. They no tell us saying so this kind of thing be. And that is why most of us women are into abusive marriage relationship. We don't want to come out because of what people will say, and we die there. And life continues with our parents also. So that is the thing. People don't. In fact, people prefer to die. People prefer to, I must be in this relationship. We see where this thing is heading to. You see, this property is happening here in abroad. It's happening. You see this property, we go share them. In fact, they will even push the man out of the property and take the man's stuff. And that is when men go extreme length to do something to women. So in fact, this Bimbo owner, I will never blame her, but I will blame the guy. I will blame the guy a little, because watching her die, or whatever they said, he pushed her or he did whatever. We don't really know the real thing. What we hear is story about what the brother said, but she herself no try. At least for the 5 kids where she gets. But I no go die leave them. Who I won't leave them for now? Who she left the kids for? So nothing. We should learn how to keep away from that love. Like what Blessing said, you see, you don't marry because of love. I will rather marry somebody like we grow in love. But you see, that's one that men, so when a man loves you and the man is obsessed, that is when hitting comes in. Because a little thing you do will make the man hit you or question you. So that is my contribution to the topic. In fact, we should learn to live marriage. But I know that what is really holding down some women is money. Is like what Vida said. If I come out, how will I survive? Yes, it is difficult. It is very, very difficult. I know how I survived here, and I know how I am still surviving. It is not easy. Having a child in abroad and it's not easy. So I will not blame anybody, but
I know this is a very passionate conversation. Thank you so much, Vivian. We already have another lady with us. Hi, introduce yourself.
Hi, Daddy Freeze. I'm Tanya.
Na Yankee accent.
So I actually sent you a message the other day when you originally had this conversation, because.
Where are you?
Me? America.
Okay. Go ahead, continue.
So a lady on your previous live, when the incident happened, she spoke about the victim not wanting to leave and that she wanted to, exit from life and how like she could have if she wanted to. Actually recorded a voice note like 20 minutes and I didn't realize it was only 1 minute that was submitted out to you. But what I was trying to say to you is there are so many reasons as to why the victim doesn't leave. One of the angles that wasn't said previously was sometimes you have to remember their upbringing, right? If you grew up in a domestic environment, that child come up and become an abuser or a victim because that's the environment in which they grew up in. So to them, that's normal. That's their life. Like that's all they know. They don't know that to be a bad thing. So if they find themselves in that environment, that's normal. Who are you to tell them that's not how normal people live? It's easier for the outsider to be like, hey, that's not a way to be treated and stuff like that. Another thing you had mentioned was in your previous marriage, you wasn't the one that walked out. Your ex-wife was the one who left, and you were actually upset that, you know, your neighbors and stuff actually helped move your things out. And you didn't, at that moment, you was upset with them for moving her things out. And it was later on you now realize that they actually did you a favor. So why? Because you were a victim in that situation, but at that time, you wasn't seeing like, hey, I needed to get out of this. To you, you were like, yeah, I can manage with this, you know, for better or for worse, to do us part, you know, that's how it should be. So I'm in this to the end, right? It took some time, like after you left the situation, after she moved out and she was like, hey, I don't want to be here no more. And then she went, you guys had a conversation with your pastor and you were like, nah, I'm done. I can't take this no more. Right. But at the same time, you were still mad at the people who helped her to move her stuff out because you were like, why are they doing that? Like, that's my wife. We together. She, you know, we married. Why are you trying to break up our marriage? So it's the same thing. When a victim is in a situation, to them, there's so many reasons as to why they don't want to leave. They feel safer with their abuser because that's all they know. Sometimes the abuser isolate them from their family, from friends. They have no social life. They don't know nobody. So it's like, who am I going to? They have no friends, no support system, no nothing. And another thing, statistics show if a victim decides to leave their abuser, first of all, every day, 3 women die of domestic violence every single day. Okay, so it increases their chances to get killed when they make that decision to exit out of that relationship. And so they think about that, like, oh, I don't want to die. So if I'm better off staying here and I'll be alive than for me to leave this relationship. Is it right? No, it's not. But they know their abuser better than anyone else does. And they also have to worry about, like in this young lady case, like who's going to take care of my kids? I don't have a job. I don't have nothing. Where am I? Like, who's my support system? Well, at least she has family members, but most people have nobody because what? The abuser had isolated them from their friends and family, from their loved ones, and spewed all these negativity and make them to believe that they have no life outside of that environment with that person, that they literally feels like their oxygen they breathe is attached to their abuser, so they have to be there. Like life, there is no life without that person. And even when you manage to take them out of it, there was a case, well, actually a Nigerian lady in Maryland who got murdered by her ex-husband, and she actually was successful, and she left the relationship. She filed for divorce, moved out of the house, but he went and murdered her in Maryland. Because it's like that mindset, if I can't have you, no one else could. But she left because she's like, I can't do this no more. She had to support, people had talked to her and stuff. And then there's another thing on the end of the police, when you file a police report, not being taken seriously, because there are different types of abuse, right? So you also think about, you know, the police might feel like you're lying and all that kind of stuff, and not taking the case seriously and treating it like lackluster, no sense of urgency, right? And unfortunately, yes, it happened here in Maryland, but part of that could have been prevented because her case, unfortunately, didn't get the attention that was needed. She filed for protection, and she didn't really get that. It wasn't rushed. And he, at some point when it was granted, he violated that order because like he weren't supposed to be in X amount of feet, right? What the environment that she was in, he weren't supposed to be, but he didn't care. He went and he exited her out. It's like a real life story. So there's a psychological thing that also people don't take that into consideration, because if I grew up in a violent environment, for me that is not violent. That's how you love each other. That's love for me. And now my entire upbringing, mentally, psychologically, I've been programmed to think that way. Now here I am as an adult, I'm the abuser. And then there's another person who has similar experience in relationships prior to me. So even though their upbringing might be a little bit different from me, but they're a little bit familiar with what I grew up with.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you so much. That was really, really profound. We have one more person, but I'm just going to give you 2 minutes, ma'am, because we're running out of time and I'm tired. So to the new lady,
sorry, I wanted to be here sooner.
Mrs. Shotubo, what is your
Hello.
take?
Well, I actually want to come from the religion aspect. I feel like the churches are doing a really bad job. The pastors mostly. And I'm speaking for myself as well. I think the churches has brainwashed us to believe that when you leave your marriage, you're a failure. That means you can't do anything right. And I think that needs to stop. Like, a lot of churches need to stop that preaching. Like, yeah, in the Bible, God said he doesn't like divorce, but there was nowhere in the Bible where it said if you're in a toxic relationship or, you're being battered, you should stay and die. Now, talking from the aspect of Bimbo that died, we women were so fond of saying, I'm staying because of my kids. Fine, she might not be financially independent, but her brother, I saw the video you made with the brother yesterday, and he made a statement that she made her husband. And I'm a firm believer that if you could make someone, then how about you work on yourself to make yourself? If she had left, I believe she could have made more for herself if she had just had the courage to leave and just start from, it's going to be hard. It's not going to be easy. With 5 kids, that's going to be hard. But at least the peace of mind is there. Now she's dead. The kids they have nobody else to take care of them. So I believe that women, we need to stop with the excuse that, oh, because of my kids, I don't want to leave. Who's going to do this for them? Who's going to do that for them? I have 4 kids. I don't live in a home where, there's violence, but I do know that if it get to a point where I feel like my life is not safe, I would leave, take my kids. It's going to take a while for me to get my footings back, but I know when I'm in the right place mentally, because we also forget that when we're not mentally okay, we're not giving the best to whoever we're claiming we're staying for. She stayed in that marriage with the excuse of her kids, but I'm sure those kids, they kept seeing the violence, and when they grow up, those are the things they will hold on to, because to them that's the best way to to kind of leave. I have a daughter, I have 3 boys, and there's something I teach. Me and my husband were very particular about the way we speak to our daughter, because we don't want to have that belief that that's the right way. Like, you don't yell at her, you don't scream at her. Even if she does something wrong, there's a way you can communicate with her for her to understand that, okay, I did something wrong, without you raising your voice, because she would grow up to think, oh, it's okay for any man to just raise his voice at me, and that's just the normal way to leave, and it's wrong. So it's not just about the woman, it's everything in general. The church is doing a terrible job. They need to stop preaching that part of the Bible without explaining in depth what it means. Women, we need to stop with the excuses. And for men are very, I'm sorry that Freeze, I'm not really talking to you, but a lot of men in general are very messy. Like, for Bimbo to get to that point, because everybody they don't want to talk about what led to her. And based on the story, she's a loving person, she's caring, she's all that. But it gets to a point a woman will break And when she breaks, that's when you see the other side of her. And people pick on that side without thinking of all the things she has, and she's gone through with a man. Like I'm a sucker for love. I would do anything for my husband, for my family, but to a point, it will get to a point where you will break if you're being maltreated. He keeps cheating on her, doing all sorts of things. It get to a point a woman will break, and then you see the other side of her that you would not even expect that she has in her. And then society will pick on that. Oh, she's violent. She's this. She's that. No woman was born violent. Yeah, how we grow up to will also determine how we act. I grew up from a family, a polygamous family, very toxic. But when I got married, I made it a choice that I don't want to go through that. I don't want to, entertain that in my home. And I thank God that I married a man that came from a different background where he understood what it is to be caring. Now, does that mean my husband does not have his negative side? Trust me, he does. But we both have to work together. And if I know that it's getting to the point where, okay, boy, no, this is not for me, I'm gonna leave. Society will call you names. They will tell you you're this, you're that. But the moment you leave and you have the courage to start all over, same set of people will be the one praising you for leaving. And that's, I think, the saying that says you can never satisfy everybody. You cannot. Because when you leave, they blame you. When you don't leave, they blame you. So why not just try to do the best thing for yourself and then come out, on the top as the winner? Now she's dead. He's on the run. I think I read that they captured her, I don't know. But now the kids are just there. She's gone. And now everybody's saying her life story like we know anything about it. We don't. She would have been the best person to explain what really happened. But at the end of the day, we need to stop using our kids as an excuse to stay in a domestic, relationship. Those kids will grow up. If she's still alive and she stayed, and let's assume she didn't die, those kids will grow up and blame her more for even staying. And I have a perfect example. Like, you hear, oh, I stayed because of you. I did this. I'm like, well, I'm grown. I have my own family now. I'm blaming you for certain things. You could have just leave. And then when I get to a certain age, I would actually appreciate you more for leaving rather than staying and enduring, some unnecessary stress from a man who could care less about you. If the man really loved her, I think he would have helped her. But I don't think there was any love in there.
All right. Thank you so much for your time. It's been wonderful. I'm going to be with you same time tomorrow. Don't forget, Clash of the Supporters is going to be amazing. I'll keep updating you on this saga. And there's one thing I want you to know. Flee from toxicity. You don't want to be in a bad place. Flee from toxicity. We're going to be having many conversations around this topic over the next few days. And we're going to be helping people who are not strong enough but need to leave. Physically, I hope we don't have to help financially, but at least physically and in many other ways. So do take care of yourselves and see you tomorrow.